All right, phenomenal morning, guys. Listen, I am your host, Sean Wright East. You are now tuned in to the Breakfast with the Brand. I am flanked always by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. Listen, it's gonna be little bit of a different episode today, right? You can already tell it's a little bit of a different episode, different background. It's gonna be a little bit different. Bobby, how you feeling, brother? Let me ask you that. How you feeling, man?
Man, I thought I knew how I was feeling until I saw the background.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Man,
we gotta switch it up, man. I've been traveling and speaking, man. Like I get these last minute calls, right? I
mhm.
get these last minute opportunities to be of value, and we're closing like the year. Guys, listen. Okay, so I see Bradley Hoover, phenomenal morning. I see who is this? I see who else is here? Let me just look in real quick. Okay, I see Jordan Knox. I see Bradley Hoover with the comments. Listen, guys, it's going to be different. LinkedIn, I can't see what you guys are doing. I don't have that browser up, but let me tell you something. I get these last minute calls to come be of value, right? And listen, people say this, but they don't mean it. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I hear that all the time. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? So most people have like a bag, like a go bag. I have a go suitcase, right? I have a gold suitcase with suits in it, everything new, like fresh, ready to go, watches, everything. So when I get a call, it's like, okay, I'm gone. And literally, I got a call, I think it was Thursday, in the middle of the afternoon after a call. So I'm on a call and I get a call. I get a text, as a matter of fact, from a well-known influencer, guys. Okay, and he's like, Sean, I need you to come down here, da 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 da. And I'm like, where? It's in Miami. So I'm like, huh. Last plane out for a speaking engagement the next morning. Paid, very handsomely paid, right? So if I'm not ready to go and able to get to the airport to get the last flight out, opportunity gone, money gone, big money, like big bag gone. You have to be ready to go at all times. At all times. Now, I'm not the person that's like saves and like save. I'm always on some investing, take the money out the account, flush the account, make it empty. But when I say empty, my empty and your empty, two different empties. Hey, my empty and your empty are two different empties. Now, to me, it's empty. There's no money in there. And I'm not touching it for nothing. I mean, $5, I ain't got it. I really don't. I really don't. All I'm thinking about is to bring in and then push out, bring in, push out, bring in, push out. The only reason I let money store, now this is, I want you to change the words, saving and storing. The only reason I let money accumulate is so it can hit a critical mass and then I can move the critical amount, the critical mass into something that's going to bring me a more critical mass. Please understand, I don't think that scary way. Oh, I got to make sure I have this amount in there. Oh, I just got to see it. I just need to look at it and see it because it makes me feel comfortable. I have found that comfort kills. I have found that comfort, the illusion of comfort is the great discomforter. The illusion of comfort is the great discomforter. What happens if you're comfortable? So let me just give you a background real quick, and I'm excited, guys. I'm super excited. So you probably feel the energy. Hopefully, I can transfer some energy to you, so you can feel some passion in your life and in your business, right? So watch this. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because if not, let's say I'm working out. So you guys know I'm always in the gym. But let's say I wanted to be comfortable. Now I'm always uncomfortable in the gym. I make myself uncomfortable in the gym all day. I'm uncomfortably comfortable. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. But let's just say I really wanted to be comfortable, Bobby. I'm not going to work out anymore. I'm done because it makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to stay comfortable. My muscles would atrophy. My muscles would atrophy. They would eat themselves until they no longer existed, because I want to be comfortable. If I wanted to be comfortable, when I got the call to get to the airplane as fast as possible, I couldn't even book online. I had to get there. Boom, me. I couldn't even book online. I had to be there in the flesh. So if I wanted to be comfortable, I'd say, oh, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. You understand?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to stay in my little comfort zone and say, oh, it's the last minute call, last minute situation. I don't really know the audience. I haven't been prepped for it. I could be comfortable. And I would have missed the opportunity, missed the money, missed all the opportunities that came on the back end. So I tell people this all the time. I say 25K is like minimum front end for you, for you, for you as a speaker. For everybody watching this, if you speak at an event, 25K should be your minimum to speak on the front end. And on the back end, you can add a zero to it from all of the relationships and all of the networking and all of the business deals that come on the back end of a speaking event. And if you don't know what that looks like, you really need to get involved with what we do so we can show you how it's properly done. You don't speak for free. This is what I do free. And it's not for free because it feeds me. This is my charity. You see, this is my charity. This is my give back. This is my give back. I'm not, I pay for this, but I also get paid from this because it feeds me and it fuels me. This is my passion and my purpose, guys. And if you haven't found that yet, you need to look in the mirror and really try to, work some things out. And if you want some help with that, that's what we specialize in.
Mhm. Wow. I feel the energy. I'm pretty sure we're probably about to go to a break here shortly. But
we got to hit it. We got to pay some bills, guys. We will be right back. And I got a question coming back. So I love coming back to a question, guys. We'll be right back. Let's grow. There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, guys, so watch this. I got a question here and I want to answer it. I got a very valuable question here because it's probably a question that everybody on the call is like, how do I do this, right? And I got people on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and not Instagram yet. I promise you, like, I'm going to remember to put the phone up and do IG too, but I promise you, I was just on a call this morning, like before this. I got here just in time. Now, Lawana Bradford, and phenomenal morning, Lawana. Lawana is a phenomenal leadership speaker, coach, consultant. She's been doing consulting for high-level organizations for a long time. Just so everybody, I want to give you context. I don't want to just give you content. I want to give you context as well. So she's a phenomenal client, phenomenal person, phenomenal thriver, phenomenal woman, phenomenal CEO of a company, the Bradford Group, that's been doing business with high-level organizations for a long time. Okay, so I want you to understand, because my answer is going to come based on who I'm speaking to. Everybody's not going to get the same answer. I don't do cookie cutter. So what I'm going to say to her might not work for you, but I'm going to try to generalize it as well, so it will work for most people. Okay, great. She says, about positioning as a speaker, what is the number one recommendation you give to position yourself to warrant a $25,000 speaking fee? Expertise. Expertise. And let me add a little bit of depth and breadth to that. Let me iron it out. And this is where it becomes different. I'll speak to the novice first. If you're not an expert, make a choice and become one. Make a choice and become one. Said that, and I'm going to go into a little story real quick. They used to say that if you haven't decided what you're going to go to college for in the first 2 years, you should not be allowed there anymore.
Yeah.
Because you have to make a decision. If you don't know what you're going to specialize in, then you're just wasting time. And you need to go back to like preschool, grade school, and figure out what you're going to do with your life. I believe with that. I believe in that wholeheartedly. So if you're not an expert, then become an expert. Take the courses, take the study, make the choice, and go deep into the work. Because you don't get paid $25K to speak if you don't have the deep work. If you're not a master of your craft, if you are not an expert, you don't get that kind of speaking fee. You get $5K, or what they call an honorarium. They might fly you in. Hear me clearly. They might. 9 times out of 10, they'll treat you like a generalist. I was going to say something extra negative, but I won't. What I will say is you'll pay for your hotel, you'll pay for your plane ticket, you'll pay for your food, and you'll speak for free. They will rob you and do you filthy as long as you allow it. Seriously. And the way you change it is to become an expert. So now for the expert, because LaJuana is an expert, let me answer her question. And I'm only going deep with her like this because she is a client. So please understand, like, I won't go deep on somebody's question like this to this level. However, everybody watching this is getting a gift right now. LaJuana, what you need to do is brand you and do authenticity marketing. So you need to create the content that's going to position you as the expert in your field, because I know it. The people who know you know it. The company that have hired you know it. But the people who are doing event management, they don't know it. And the only way you make them know it is by producing valuable content consistently. I always say that consistency plus intensity equals invincibility. You become invincible by the value and the depth and the breadth of your content. Depth means it's deep in its quality work. Breadth means that there's a lot of it. It's everywhere. They can't escape it. So when they start looking for the solution that you provide, everybody can use this. When they're looking for the solution that you provide, you should be the only viable option and not the best kept secret. And that only happens when you pick up your phone and you go from a phone to a camera and you just put out content, not just the phone. It doesn't all have to be visual. It can also be articles. This is why I say write the book. That's why I do the 10 PD framework and brand it like a leader. You got the book, and you got the testimonials, and you got the phenomenal platform and the website that speaks to all of your greatness and all of your, it turns your theory into evidence-based practice. It's no longer theory when someone can see it. People hear what you say, guys. They hear what you say, but they buy what they can see. They buy what they can see. So Google you and then Google me. And I'm not speaking to LaJuana directly. I'm speaking to everybody in the audience. When they hear what you say, but they buy and pay for what they can see. So Google you and then Google me and look at the difference. That's what you need to do. Proliferate the world. 2024 for you should be a time when you do nothing but plant seeds and water and nurture. And I promise you, this is my guarantee, in 2025, they will begin to come to the surface. They will begin to break through. They will begin to know your name and recognize you. And then in 2026, they'll pay you handsomely, very handsomely. Reward you very well for the work that you've done and the catalog that you've created. You'll be undeniable, unrefutable, and undefeated. Guaranteed. You're very welcome. I guarantee everything I say. That's exactly what I did. I'm not giving you hypothesis or somebody's theory from some MBA course from some teacher who didn't build anything. Sorry about that. I apologize, Bobby.
Oh no.
The MBAs with the hurt feelings.
Right. Oh my goodness. I wrote down a few things. One thing that stuck out though was results. Results seems like it's the only thing that matters. You know, results is
that's it.
Matters.
That's
and I think that I was listening to Robert Greene. He's got a book called Mastery. When I'm not reading my one book, I'm listening to, if I'm in the car, trying to fill my mind with positivity. And in that particular drive, I heard him talking about dynamics. He was talking about real mastery and being a professional of the highest order is when you reach a point where you've done so much of the depth work that your breath work has an intuitive feel for the dynamic. And what he was saying with that was like, if you're a speaker in the consulting space and you're a business owner, then some of the dynamics that are unseen could be team building, relationships, marketing, sales, finance, accounting, operations, all of these nuances. And I think what we're talking about this morning that just connects subtly, but profoundly, is that pick, choose, decide where you want to be an expert, and then just go as deep as you possibly can there. And as you go deep and learn the different nuances of your industry, and you learn different things, like different dynamics, just stay there. So that was like one of the main things I wrote down that I thought was pretty interesting. Just, find that spot and stay there. That's something that I've been working on, guys. Like that's my 2024 claim to fame. I'm decide, stick it out.
Let me add to that, Bobby. You know what I wasn't called in to speak about? You know what I didn't get paid to speak about?
Anything other than branding?
Branding and leadership. I was gonna say, if you'd have asked me the question, see, Bobby knows. If he would have fell into the trap, I'd have said accounting.
Yeah.
I wasn't paid to come speak about accounting because I'm not an accountant. That's not my specialty. I wasn't called for that. I was called and I was paid handsomely for personal branding, leadership development, branded like a leader, leadership branding. That's it. Now, how you build a brand after that, how you build a business after that, how you get clients and customers and market that. Yes, of course, like that all flows together. But I wasn't called to give a lecture or a speech to a bunch of architects about architecture. They wouldn't pay me anything unless they're trying to build a brand. If they're trying to build their personal brand or get leadership within their organization, then I'll be paid handsomely. However, if they're trying to find out how to get the zoning for the land, for their architecture and their work and the waters under the ground, like they won't pay me for that because I'll be lost. Yeah. I'll go to sleep. I go to sleep in one of those conferences. Like I can't even, I don't have the energy. Like I promise you, anything outside of my specialty is like kryptonite for me. Mm. But in my zone, I'm Superman, right next to the sun.
Yeah, I think that's something that I'm learning on a whole nother level. And I just want to be transparent with you guys this morning, because I think that's what this program is all about. Breakfast with the Brand. Yes, it's about us helping you learn how to brand, but also showing you what it takes to build a brand. So you all are seeing me in real time build my brand. Some of you all have seen me when I was just, in the leather jacket with the fitted cap. Some remember me back that far. And now you guys are like, man, okay, Bobby, you're doing it. So I want to tell you guys one thing about this process that at least is coming up now as I'm watching Sean sit in the hotel rooms, living the life that I want to live, that I'm living. I'm actively getting closer and closer. So here's something that I've noticed about myself in 2023. I've noticed that when you try to rush things, you miss things. Like when you try to rush things, you miss things. And boy, was that like my kryptonite. Like I would see something and I would assume that I understood what I was witnessing. But in reality, I was just seeing, I was just like engaging with what to me was an illusion, but to the Grand Master was a well-crafted and articulate like design. It was incredible. So when all of those things happen for me, I think what I've learned in 2023 is that if you take your time and actively go through the process of uncovering, discovering, and recovering parts of you, because that's what happens sometimes, like you lose yourself. That's right. And you recover yourself, like you become, not even you become, you realize. I think you realize what you are. And I think that's important when you're trying to do this right. That speaking piece, being authentic, being paid, and making it pay like it weigh, like just really reintroduce yourself to yourself. And adversity does that. So go find some pain and run into it.
Ooh, good, Bobby. Great. Bobby said he gave a clinic real quick, guys. And I want to kind of break it down and go step by step, but I know I don't want to become too long-winded. So we'll break that down when we come back, guys. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. I really, really hope you understand the level of the value that you're receiving this morning. Let's grow. In brand clarity, exactly what you're going to get is what it sounds like. Clarity for your brand. What is your color? What is your logo? What is your unique value proposition? Who are you speaking to? Why? How should you speak to them? How should I position myself? That's what you're going to learn in brand clarity. You need other people to have the same clarity on your brand that you do. But this is the gap. If you don't have clarity on your brand, then no one else is going to have clarity on your brand either. It's like messaging. Your message sounds clear to you, but is your end user receiving the value that you're trying to provide? I guarantee you that after you go through brand clarity, they will, and so will you. And that's how you'll scale your brand. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile. He's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. All right, great. So Bobby said some things, and I want to put it in context. He said when you fast forward, you miss things, right? When you try to speed things up, you miss things. I want to ask you, when was the last time you was in a fast-moving car? When was the last time you was in a fast-moving car? I used to play I Spy. I Spy with my little eye, right? I Spy with my little eye. You would say something that you saw, and someone else would have to call out what it was. When you try to move fast, depending on the level of speed that you're trying to hit, you don't spy anything. You can't see anything but a blur. It's all confusing and frustrating. And I want to highlight someone because there's a gap. There's a gap. Look at this. So Jordan asks, do you think I can do it in 6 months instead of 3 years? And then he laughs out loud. And I'm going to say the closest you're going to get to that is Branded Like a Leader. That's what I did. I compressed time and put 5 years of work into one, so that in 3 years, I made 15 years progress. That's the only reason I am where I am and I'm doing what I'm doing right now. That's the only way. I compressed time, but I couldn't do it until I had gotten the expertise. And that you can't fast forward. I couldn't fast forward the master's degree, any of them. And I have 3 of them, and I couldn't fast forward the process. I fast forwarded the book's process, and I break it down in Branded Like a Leader, how I turned a 300-page book into a 30-day project. But hardly anyone has been able to come behind me and make the resolute decision to do it and execute on it. Everybody wants a book. Everybody needs a book. But very few people can summon the discipline and the focus and the concentration to really do it. They want what it looks like. They want what it looks like. They don't want what it feels like, because you literally have to, your social life has to die for 30 days. And you can't do anything else but write. And people can't do that. So they don't get the result. And then they keep chasing the result in the form of courses, in the form of coaching engagements. But they've picked up the habit of not doing the work. They've picked up the terrible habit of trying to put success in a microwave. And just think about it, guys. It tastes terrible.
Yeah.
And it's not nutritious. So it doesn't give life, it takes life. So I'm going to introduce you to something called bullet train thinking. Bullet train thinking. So bullet train thinking came from Jack Welch. I studied under him before he passed in the Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University. There's the bullet train. The bullet train came into existence because people, executives, high-level executives, wanted to get where they wanted to go faster. It took them like 4 hours to go from one point to the next. And they needed to cut it in half, and they wanted to, and it was almost unrealistic, but the thought was proposed. The complaint was present. The need was there. And because there was a need there, engineers began to get to work. And they didn't cut it completely in half, but they cut it close to almost half the time. But this is the thing I want you to understand. You cannot look out of the window and see one detail. So while you're trying to speed it up, while you're trying to move fast, while you're trying to compress time, if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know torque, if you're not using a system to fast forward your process, then you're just moving fast and getting nothing done. And that's the scary part, because the scary part, as Bobby learned, and anyone else who's tried to do this the wrong way learns, you think you're doing something because you're moving fast and you're tired and you're getting the dopamine hit, the neurology piece, you're getting the dopamine hit as if you're doing something. You are doing something, but what you're doing means nothing. I'm just sorry, like it doesn't mean anything. It's not substantial. So you're exhausted because you exerted energy, and your brain gives you a sense of accomplishment because you're actively in action, but you're actively accomplishing nothing. And this is where I have to step in and help people not so much learn new things, unlearn old things. That's why I don't work with anyone for less than a year, Bobby, from the very beginning, because the first thing I got to do, it's so hard to stop fast momentum. And everybody wants to move fast and fast forward the process, and everybody's moving in the wrong direction as fast as they possibly can. So it takes me like a year to slow them down and stop them. And then we can begin with a clean slate to put in the right inputs so people can start getting the right outputs. Yeah. You guys, you're doing the most, but you're receiving the least. And it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
Mhm.
Slow and steady wins the race. That's why I'm here, because I had the patience. Now, what I did do was I did a lot of the right things. I wasn't looking for the immediate payday. I was looking for the immediate pain and the immediate growth of investment. That's what I did. I invested year after year after year, but my investments went from 4 figures to 5 figures to 6. And I got no immediate return, but I knew I was creating a critical mass. Like I spoke about before, Bobby, I knew I was hitting a critical mass. And then once my critical mass got big enough, it was able to shift. And now what happens, Lawana, Jordan, whoever's watching this, Bobby, now what happens is people Google me and they see that I've got a track record. They see that I'm clinical. Now they can see, oh, he's not just starting. He's not just trying to sell me something. He's got a vision that he's been working on for years. If you go deep enough into my background, you'll see that I worked in underserved populations for years. You'll see that I have clinical degrees and I've worked in the hard areas with the hardest populations to help them shift their thinking. Last book is not the first book. The last book is the last book, and the next book is in process. Like it's a track record. It's like a genealogy, like a tree, like a family tree of executed initiative after executed initiative after executed initiative. So now, Lawana, to add to what we were saying earlier, now when people call me to speak, they already know what the number is going to be, because they can Google me and see. And when they choose to bring in an expert, when they say, I want the best, they can find me because I'm Googleable, right? So that's one thing you guys have to become, Googleable. But when they Google you, please don't show up as a novice, and don't show up as general. Show up as a specialist. Show up with decorations. Show up on the news. Show up writing for huge articles. Show up being put on super articles because you're really the expert. Show up with depth and breadth, and you'll be paid with depth and breadth. But it's going to take a depth and breadth of time for you to accumulate that. And those are the details that God is in, and the devil is too. You'll find out a lot about yourself through the process, because many of you won't be able to do it. You'll want the result, but you'll never want what it feels like.
This is a crazy energy this morning. I don't think I've ever felt this energy like this morning. Like, I don't think I ever have. And what I do want to explain what I'm feeling though, so that the people might be able to determine what they might be feeling. So what I'm feeling is almost like a futuristic reality. I'll give some context to this. Like, have you ever been asked the question, what are you going to be when you grow up? Right? Have you ever been asked that question? Most of you all have. And the interesting response is that people choose occupations. They don't choose themselves, right? They say, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a police officer. And that's kind of like a thing you can do, but it's not necessarily you. And what I'm feeling this morning is we're witnessing what you can do when you choose to be you. You decide on a field that you want to move in, and then you get equipped with the necessary tools you need to express yourself. And I think that's subtle. It's subtle because how many of us are actually doing that? How many of us are living the life that optimizes and fully expresses us? I think most of us are in an occupation. Many of us have gotten good at what we said we wanted to know how to do, and we've kind of left it at that after we got the money, well, because we got basic needs. But I think what I'm feeling right now though is that if you want more, you can have it. If you want to live in a hotel, not live in a hotel, but if you want to be able to be in hotels when you want to be there, in exquisite hotels for as long as you care to be there while you're working, you can have that. If you want to be an expert in your field and go through the master's degrees, you can have that. Whatever you want to do, you can do. Jordan Knox said, I'm going to rehab for 30 days, no phone, no computer. I mean, sometimes that's what you have to do. Like, that's literally what you have to do. So for me, normally I have something to say, guys. I feel like I'm receiving this morning. Like, I don't really have anything to pour out just yet.
No problem, Bobby. No problem. I got you. Right.
Right.
And like I said, guys, I'm super excited for you guys because this is the end of a cycle. Forget about the years. This is the end of a cycle for you. Mm-hmm. And you get to choose what cycles end and what new cycles begin. Every year, I surround myself with water to plan out the next year. The first thing that I do is I assess the previous year. And I make sure that my visions and actions, the strategies that I implemented go along with the vision that I have, the long term and the short term. And then I plot and plan out the next. Right. So I do sometimes just go from resort to resort to resort. But I make sure, and this is something I did intentionally, I baked travel and luxury into my business practice. I intentionally baked travel. So I used to tell people this is a coach from anywhere business. Now I have to add speak from anywhere because COVID is over. So it's also a speak from anywhere business. As long as I got a Wi-Fi, guys, I'm live. I'm on. Like, I don't need anything else. As long as I got a Wi-Fi, I have an audience. And I have unlimited, unending content because of how deeply I've immersed myself in everything. You don't understand. Like, if I'm not giving, I am receiving myself. I put myself in rooms where I'm speechless. And I'm learning and learning and learning and learning. But please understand the level of investment that I have to make to seek out the kind of expertise and mastery that leaves me speechless. Knowledge is expensive. Like, masters and real gurus of their craft are extremely expensive. So if you think the prices that we charge are super high, you haven't seen anything yet. Like, I promise you, like, I make huge, I amass critical masses so that I can shift and go learn something. I literally amass critical masses so I can say, okay, cool. Now, I make a transfer so we can make a transfer. You understand? Like, literally. And this is one thing I wanted to say before we go to a break, the last break, guys. And just try to find out if this is you. Be honest with yourself. Kids say, I can't wait to grow up. All kids. I was one of those kids. Kids say, I can't wait to grow up. I'm sorry. Let me give a little bit of context. While we're going through this call, I'm writing down takeaways. I myself am writing down takeaways. I'm self-assessing and I'm learning from everything being said. So if you're not, that's probably why you are where you are and not where you need to be. You see Bobby constantly over here like this. Da, 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 da. Me, I'm over here writing it down. Even though I'm providing the content, I'm learning as I go because I'm constantly assessing and reassessing and self-assessing. And I'm learning from what Bobby says and what the questions are. The thoughts that come to me as I answer the questions. Okay, so great. If you're not writing this down, you're doing it wrong. So kids say, I can't wait to grow up. But when they grow up, because they haven't prepared and utilized the time in between, we have a lot of adults that wish they were kids again. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. I wish I was a kid. What say adulting? They say adulting. This adult stuff is so hard. I wish I could go back. right? I wish I could go back to be. How many of us wish we could go back to being kids so we could do it the right way? Why don't we just do it the right way the first time, guys? If we're trying to fast forward the process, then we're that kid that did it the wrong way. And we're trying to reproduce. That's why I said it's a pattern. Trying to fast forward things is a pattern. You can't rush aged wine or cheese. You can't rush it. And I'm not a drinker, so but I've been told, I have been told that there's just some, I know, you know what I do know? I know the price goes up. The vintage vineyard, the fruit from the vintage vineyards go up as years go by. And let me tell you something, guys, the price of everything goes up. And that's why it's the best time right now to make whatever investments on your mind. Because next year, if you put it off, it's going to be a higher price. Branded like a leader has a price attached to it. If you feel, oh, now's not the time. Oh, I'll wait until it's perfect. Oh, I'll wait until tax time. Okay. But when you come around, come tax time, the price will probably be higher.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate says one thing. Real estate has a rule: location, location, location. Well, our industry and our business also has rules. And the most important one is that time is of the essence. Everything is timing. So if you got a decision or an investment that you have to make or want to make or something you want to really begin, the best time to do it was 10 years ago. The next best time was yesterday. All you got right now is today. Tomorrow, the price will be higher. That's for anything that you want, guys. That's for anything that you want or anything that you're on your mind or on your heart. If you're trying to work out, do it today. Do it today. Because I guarantee you the cost tomorrow, the price, tomorrow's price will not be today's price. You might have to overcome something that came from not doing the work today. Stop trying to fast forward. Slow down. Slow down and take a real good assessment of what's going on around you, and you'll make better decisions. I always tell this. I say the quality of the question will determine the quality of the answer. Sometimes we just need to slow down, not speed up. Let's grow.
I said Sean Ride East. I'm proud. I said Sean Ride East.
Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes. What you're looking at right now is the new face of leadership. I chose to go the route of SOE, standards of excellence. So I help people put zeros behind their numbers. I help people move up in or out of their organization and get paid their annual income monthly, their monthly income weekly, and their weekly income daily. I promise you, if you follow me at all, you're gonna wanna use something to write with. CSA first, CSA. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. Clarify, simplify, and amplify. It starts with the decision. Who do you wanna be and what do you wanna do? Who do you wanna be? You have to define that. If you don't know, then it's vague and it'll never be clear. The problem that we have is clarity. We walk into an organization happy to be there, happy that they accepted us, but we don't have a clear goal. That's why people stay in the same organization year after year after year, go to the same vacation spots with the same people and talk the same amount of nonsense around the same water cooler. So when I go into an organization and someone says they've been here for 20 years and they're still around $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, I'm like, whew, it's chilly. It's a little bit cold when I know that all it takes for you to raise your prices, whether it's inside or outside of an organization, is self-belief and dedication. Brand you and not what you do. So when I meet people, I ask people, tell me a little bit about yourself, and they immediately tell me what they do. That's not who you are. Branding is who you are. Marketing is how people find out about you. So when you say, I'm a photographer, you just lumped yourself in with a million other photographers. What's special about you? Why should I work with you? I don't need a hand with a camera. I need a man with a story. A woman with a goal, a vision. Someone with an idea of what they want to be and who they want to impact in their lives. That's what moves me. We know where we belong, whether we're in that seat or not. We heard the word legacy and we were pulled to come. I flew in last minute. Let's go. Leadership, legacy, love. Whew. I gotta be there. So what happens in marketing is when you say, I am you put yourself in what we call a red sea. You're now fighting against a million competitors with a million different things. Clarify. Who are you? What do you stand for? And then simplify it. Don't make it 10 things. Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has thrown 10,000 kicks. He says, I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. You can have the most mouth-watering steak that the world has ever seen, but if you try to position it or place it in a vegan neighborhood, you make no money. Who are you trying to market to? Sometimes we don't support each other. Sometimes you got to go outside of your community, outside of your neighborhood, outside of your phone book to find someone who will support you. So if your business is hurting, think about the place that you're trying to move, whatever it is that you're moving, and the people that you're trying to sell to. You want to become the OVO. The OVO is the only viable option in your vertical. The only viable option in your vertical. We're not here for competition. We're here for domination. We're here for domination. Period. And if you feel differently, you're probably in the wrong room. Is anybody ready for the fifth one? Are you ready for the fifth one? I want to capture this. I want to capture this. For God's sakes, man, your prices. Your prices. We should stand out because of price. Some people look for the lowest price. You're making a big mistake because you're defining yourself. Your success comes from mindset and perception. If you're competing over the lowest price, there's a problem. Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands. Train people. I'm going to leave you with this. We train people how to treat us when we meet us based on how we treat ourselves. Brand you and not what you do. Thank you. All right. So here's a good question. Why would you play such a long video again? Right? Some people probably left like, oh, I've seen that video before. That's a long video. I've seen it before. I've seen it before. This is the beautiful thing about business. It's not always doing something new. It's doing the same thing again and again and again and getting better at it. Most people don't stay in one tract. TRACT. Most people don't stay in one tract long enough to get good at it. And if they do get good at it, they say, okay, I'm good at this. I know what I'm doing. I need to go somewhere else and learn something else. Not true. Not true. A lot of people are good at things. So back to you, Luana, and back to the question. People don't get paid $25K for speaking if they can only speak good. If they can only speak well, they don't make that kind of check. Only make those kind of checks when they do what they do in a great manner, when they're great at what they do. And most people don't have the discipline or the focus to stay doing one thing long enough to ever become great. As entrepreneurs, we suffer from like I don't want to give a negative connotation, but it's like we are OCD or we have ADHD, like we have an attention deficit, like we can't stay focused on one thing. We're all over the place. We do a whole bunch of stuff. If I ask somebody, what do you do? Like, it's hard for somebody to even tell me. Well, I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this. And it's like a gnat instead of a butterfly. It's like a gnat instead of a butterfly. It's not beautiful. It's not eloquent. It's not luxury. And therefore, luxury does not become it. People who are phenomenal get paid phenomenal wages for just being who they are and what they do. Like, that's it. You don't have to do 10 things. You got to do one thing great. And you'll have a life unlike you've ever imagined. Bobby, I'm done, man. I mean, tomorrow we might be somewhere else, but yeah, for today, I think that's enough of a clinic. I want to reiterate why I played the video again. This is not for entertainment. This is for you to build your business and move your business forward. So you need to watch this over and 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 over again. Why? Because repetition deepens the impression. This is not entertainment. I will not. So the price changes. The price goes up. Anybody who knew me when I started, the price has gone extremely high since then. Extremely high since then. But watch this. The content remains the same. I may give it to you in a different way, but it's the same message. Brand you, not what you do. Content doesn't change.
Right. Makes sense. You know, I know that we just finished. Like guys, it's rare that I feel like I have like absolutely nothing to say. So it's like what I'll end with, at least on my end, would be I've been in the brand for 3 years, and today was special for me. Like every day is special. You know, every day is special, especially you're coming on, you're with your mentor, your coach, you're like, dare I say, in some instances, father figure. So it's always an amazing experience for me. But this morning it was unique. And it was unique for me because it's like, have you ever been so close you can taste it? And I think all of you all in some capacity are right there. You know, you're right there. Like Lawana, you might be right there to that paid speaking engagement. Who else did I see? Jordan Knox, you might be right there to figuring out what information you need to put into your head so you can get ahead. And then I feel like I'm right there with that just crossing over. Like we've hit the 400%. 3 consecutive years. I think we're right there. We're ready to hit that 5. We're ready to hit that 1,000%. That really.
Yes. I was going to say 12,000, triple it.
Well, like ready to go. So
that's right. That's right. Definitely.
This morning, that's what I feel this morning, guys. I feel like if you watch this over and over again, I think it's like a tipping point video. I actually wrote down my core 4 today. I'm gonna share them with you guys for accountability.
Good. Let's go. That's how we'll close. Go ahead.
Man, wealth, finances, leadership, and growth.
Phenomenal. Now that's it. That's all you need, guys. That's all you need is your core 4. Not more, less. Less is the key to more. It's alchemical. Let's grow.